Hi! So, as you can see, I need to be out camera. As you can see, first of all, I redone my hair. A lot of people a lot of people I'll see in real life have asked, is it meant to be Harley Quinn? No, it's not meant to be Harley Quinn. It wasn't intentionally Harley Quinn colours. It's actually a transgender flag. I'll happily go for Harley Quinn. I don't mind, but it is a transgender flag. As you can see, the blue from the previous lot caused this to go slightly purple. But next time I'm just going to like bleach it like a billion more times. So, as you can see from the title, is my current wig collection. I'm going to put them all on and kind of show you what they look like. And stuff like that. I do have quite a lot of wigs now. I still want to get a lot more. First I'm going to start off with the short wigs, since obviously they are short and they're a lot easier. So the first one I grabbed is my Cecil Palmer wig. It could also be like a Kaneki wig or a Pluto wig. I've only used it for Cecil Palmer. So I will pause this and shove the wig on. Okay, so quickly, for those who don't know how to put, especially when you've got long hair like mine, putting it in a wig, this looks like a choke at the moment. To put it in a wig, I use a weaving wig cap, so it's like a tube, and you look completely monstrous for a couple of seconds because you'll see you're pulling it all through this tube. So you kind of go 1, 2, 3 over and tuck it under. I normally use Kirby grips or bobby pins or whatever you want to call them to pin it down, but since it's a very rather rushed video, I won't. So I can put my glasses back on and see what I'm doing. So, and again, when you're putting a wig on, you always go for the back and you pull that on first, and then you can sort out the front. Because if you pull it to the front first, everything can get pulled off. So this is the Cecil Palmer wig. It's not sitting on properly because the wig cap's not secured in. Everything's kind of lumping to the back. So that's the Cecil Palmer wig. So pause this. And let's give this a wee pause and I'll get the next wig set up. So this one is my light blue wig. Oh, my anchor clip's coming out. I would probably use this for either like a generic anime character or more for like Toy Bonnie from the Five Nights at Freddy's series if I was doing a human version of Toy Bonnie, because it's short enough and it can be styled and put ears on. I'd probably ruffle it up kind of like that, and do what I usually do with my wigs is kind of have the one point down. I quite like that with my wigs, but I would use this for Toy Bonnie or a generic sort of like original character. I'm not too sure, I've not really worn this before. I won it for really cheap, so that's why I got it. Okay, so this one again is my short wig. I cut this one. This was originally a Grail wig, a long Grail wig. So I've now cut it, so it was either going to become a Madame Red wig where I would trim the fringe, but I'm more going to style it to be a young or training Grail wig, so a young Reaper Grail wig. So I'd flare this out and get, again, my kind of signature kind of flick there, so I would turn the wig around and do that, and trim this a little bit so it's a bit shorter. So it would be a young Grail wig. As you see, it kind of stays like that because of the amount of times I styled it as the Grail wig. So, moving on. So this is my newest and most favourite wig. The hairspray is kind of deformed slightly, it needs to wash. So this is my Ronald Knox wig. I got this commissioned, so it can be two-toned. So as you can see, there's the black and the ginger on top. I got this commissioned from Cosplay House because I could not find for the life of me anywhere online that would do an actual Ronald Knox wig with the two tones. A lot of places were selling ginger wigs that had the curl. There's the curl. And a lot of places were basically not selling the two tones that I wanted. I really wanted the black underneath, so I had to get it commissioned. So this is actually also the most expensive wig I own. But I love it. I'm very happy with it. The only bit I'm not too impressed with is that it's very much like the generic cheaper wigs, where it's kind of like the matting on top. That's what's kind of there. But it does feel quite thick. It feels really nice. It styles fairly easy. The wigs come pre-styled, so they kind of started to style the curl. I had to do the rest of it, obviously, because it wouldn't have survived transit. But oh well. So I'm going to move now on to my Lolita. No, not my Lolita wigs. I'll move on. Yeah, I'll move on to my Lolita wigs. I've got a good few of them. So they're longer. These are all the short wigs I own. So I'll move on to the Lolita wigs. Okay, so my first Lolita wig is just a generic and plain pink wig. I quite like this one. It was one of the first long wigs that I bought that wasn't specifically related to a cosplay. Again, they are cheap. They are cheaper. As anyone who knows me, I don't pay much money for wigs. Unless, again, it's a custom that I can't find anywhere else, or I can't find somebody who can cut them or trim them for me, then I will pay a bit more. But otherwise, I will pay very little for wigs. The average price I pay for a wig is around £3 at the most. So this one cost probably about £3 or £4. All the short wigs that would get pinned there. All the short wigs cost about £1, £1.50. The most I pay for the wig, apart from my Ronald Knox wig, are my Grell Sutcliffe wigs when I need them replaced, because again they are kind of more specialised. But let's move on to the next wig. Okay, so this is one of my favourite Lolita wigs I own. It is blue, purple and pink, like all layered up. So I'll say the pink, purple and the blue. One of my favourites, because it's something I would generally dye my hair to be, although I don't really style my hair much at all, but that's why I quite like wigs, because they're usually already styled and you don't need much maintenance for them. So I quite like this one. It's very cute and very bouncy. If it was me, I would probably put big bows, like have a big bow hairband, or even go for a more neckle look, but also with the kitten ears or the cat ears. I quite like this one. It's one of my favourites personally. You may not like it. Again, this was fairly cheap. I've not been able to find one like it since. It was quite a hard listing to find. They probably got angry because I won it for so cheap and they want to sell it. I think they were trying to do a buy it now for about £25, so probably about $30 or $35. And I wasn't interested in paying that much because I'm not going to wear it much, but that's fine by me if I win it for a couple of pounds and nobody else wanted to outbid me on it. So I'll just leave this on because I've got the next wig here, my next Lolita wig. This is a more, I would say, sweet Lolita or classic Lolita, a very cutesy one, which again is another one of my personal favourites. Almost all of my Lolita wigs are some of my favourites. So that's it on. So this one with the fringe, it is swept to the side, so either have like a big bow or a clip or something. So it's a light pink and almost a lilac-y purple. You could probably also use this for like a pastel goth, if you're into being a pastel goth, or gothic Lolita. It would probably work. All these wigs I've not been attaching the anchor clips because you're just getting pulled right back off in a minute. So they're slightly looser on the head, otherwise they would be pulled a lot more taut, or tighter. So this one I really like. You could do a lot of different styles with this. I do hope to start getting some Lolita clothing in the future, and actually start wearing some more Lolita things, because I've always loved the style. Several parts of it I do quite like. Gothic Lolita or Gothic Victorian Lolita. I do quite like school Lolita, mostly because I love waistcoats. I like, obviously, gothic Lolita. Most Lolitas I do enjoy. But the only ones I'm not too sure on is Guru Lolita, which seems to be almost like undead nurse. For me, I wouldn't wear like Wa Lolita or anything like that, because for me, I wouldn't be able to pull off the style. But if anyone can, if people who do pull it off, is pretty like snazzy, like awesome. I just can't pull off certain looks or most looks. So my final Lolita wig is my kind of generic purple one. Again, I would sweep the fringe to the side and wear either like a big bow hairband or go for the kind of more neko look, because I do quite like neko look. Again, the anchor clips aren't on, otherwise this would be very tight against my head. All of these I wouldn't put near straighteners or anything, because they are synthetic, but because they are cheap, there's a higher chance they're just going to melt away. Let's readjust this. They're going to just melt away into nothingness, and the last thing I want is like a wig melted onto my forehead, because that won't be fun for anybody, and it'd be kind of hard to explain to people like why you've got a wig melted onto your head. Okay, so the next ones I've got are my Grail Sutcliffe wigs. I should have put the young Grail with it, but I didn't, because it was more short. So the first one I've got is my Butler Grail wig. It could also just be a generic black wig, but I bought it as a Butler Grail wig. No, somebody's worn this, so I'm not too happy. Somebody's worn it and got it tangled. So I've also sourced out some large red bow ribbons to wear on the back of this. I just need to get like this fringe away and then tie it up, and it will be my Grail wig. So I need to actually wash this and detangle it, because somebody has been wearing this and has gotten it all messy, so I'm not best impressed. I've only ever cosplay tested this once and it wasn't this state, so not too impressed. So somebody has been in my wigs. I have a sneaky suspicion of who it was. My next one is my new replacement Grail wig, which I haven't actually worn yet, because my partner has got my current Grail wig. There, swaps it round, so it's not even styled yet. So this is the first time actually me wearing this new one out of the bag. So this is one I shall be wearing for Comic Con. That's it on completely the wrong way. No, actually that's not so bad. So I would get this all styled and everything. Seconds, let's see if I can get the length shown. So, where is it? So there it is. So it comes down to the small of my back, my Grail wig. So this is, I buy this wig usually from the same person each time, because it is layered. So it's got the shorter layers at the top where I can style 4 Grail, as opposed just to buying a generic red wig, which I would need to try and then layer, and I attempted that once and it did not turn out great. It turned into a monstrosity. So my final wig was actually one I bought kind of not by mistake, but I bought the wrong length. I was trying to buy a Grail length wig of 1 metre, so 100 centimetres, and I accidentally purchased a 1.5 metre. So this is an extremely long Grail wig, but I would probably use this if I was cosplaying as Grail, but in a different, probably in her evening dress, where it can be bunched up, because it is ridiculously long. other than finding ways to plait it or style it, I actually have no use for this wig because it is the length of me. It's probably too long to be a Grail wig. I love it though. It's one of my favourite wigs, but it is extremely long. It is extremely heavy on, and especially they actually put on these clips for the front of your head because it's so heavy, which is a nice little touch. But I basically have next to no use for that wig, apart from the fact that it was meant to be my Comic Con wig. I bought that months ago, and it was meant to be my Comic Con wig, and it's not really the proper length. It's far too long, and it's a more coppery colour as opposed to like the wine red, which Grail is more known for. I do really want to sell this and start doing a cosplay test of a young Grail Sutcliffe. Probably using my Ronald Knox cosplay. Might use the Grail waistcoat, which is red. I don't know yet, so I'll cosplay test that. Definitely use the Grail boots, because Grail has to have the red boots. But that is currently all of my wigs. I really would quite like some more. I do love the Lolita wigs. I think my favourite has to be this one. The lilac and light pink, because it is very something I would get done to my hair. But I don't know. And obviously I'm in my Team Mystic shirt, even though I don't actually play Pokemon Go. Oh well. Hopefully I have more I will be doing more cos tests in the future. And showing more different wigs and cosplay care. I'll probably show soon how to wash and care for either a short wig, a medium length wig, and a long wig. So such as one of these wigs, a Lolita wig, and the Grail Sutcliffe wig, because they all go through by mostly the same process, but they're all slightly different in variations of difficulty or patience. Because in terms of this would probably take a day and a half to 2 days to dry, which is a long time. But I shall leave this video now. Hopefully you've enjoyed the wigs. If you want, you can say which wig was your favourite, or any ideas you want me to do in the future, such as different cosplay tests or advice for cosplay, such as, I don't know, repairs, wig styling, I don't know. This is basically your channel. You choose what goes on it. I just kind of add some stuff and get ideas back. That's mostly how I think channels should work. But I'll leave it now because this has gone on for almost 18 minutes. One of my longest videos yet. So I'll leave it here and try and tidy all these wigs up. So